welcome to Toronto. I had a really hard time sleeping last night because I'm just so excited. Today's the first day of our rehearsals for the Disney Magic 51 cast. I am so excited and so ready. I woke up nice and early at 7 and got all ready for the day. I'm just feeling all the butterflies. I'm definitely still nervous because we are doing some assessments today, but I'm so excited to meet everyone finally and just be in the studios and start this incredible new chapter. I think this is gonna be my Swing Diaries vlog, and for the entire 2-month rehearsal process, I think every Sunday I'm gonna sit down with you and chat about all the things swing and how I'm doing, how I'm feeling, how it's going, what I'm learning, what I'm struggling with, just some Sunday swing chats. And yeah, I'm gonna go head to my first day of rehearsals. I cannot wait. I can't believe this is happening. I'm so excited and I better get going, and yeah, I'll talk to you on Sunday. Hello everyone, happy Sunday. I'm here with my throat coat tea. It's a gloomy day in Toronto and it is Sunday. It's been 1 week of working at Disney. It's time to fill you in on how it's been going as a swing for the first time. Yeah, so a lot has happened this week. I guess the best word to kind of describe it is overwhelming. Going back to the first day of rehearsals, it was really wonderful to meet everyone finally and get a tour of the facilities, and we had a few welcome meetings where we just went through a bunch of their rules and policies and expectations and some information we need to know about the ships and the rehearsal studios and whatnot. We feel so taken care of here, so that's really amazing. Yeah, I feel like this week has been full of so many new experiences, with meeting all these new people, a new company, getting into a new routine, doing new types of shows, and being in a new position as a swing. They gave me the blocking charts for all of the shows, which is also super helpful because they teach everything so fast, as all cruise companies do. So it would be quite literally impossible for me to be writing out exactly where all 5 different characters stand in a given moment when they're teaching everyone so fast, if that makes sense. So to have the charts to look back at after are extremely helpful. One thing that I did try this week is there was some extra studio time. So I just spent a good hour like physically walking about the taped out stage and feeling where those numbers were and feeling the different traffic patterns. I am enjoying it. It is just a really different feeling, kind of being at the front, side, and back of the room and not necessarily being able to like jump into the process like everyone else can. So that is definitely a learning curve that I am experiencing right now. There is a lot to memorize. I'm still not quite as memorized as I'd like to be, but I'm trying to give myself grace because this is the first time ever. We have finished all of the music for our first show that we're working on, which is Twice Charmed. I'm really proud and excited to get to understudy one of the stepsisters in the show, which has been such a blast, such a quirky, fun character to play. My music theater heart is so happy. And then we started learning a little bit of music for our next show just to get a little head start, which is Tangled, which is another super exciting show. We got our tracking sheet for that show yesterday, and my name was all over that thing. I'm hoping that my brain can take it. Everyone I talk to in the studios, you like meet new people from other casts and you're like, oh, like, what's your tracking? And I say swing, and they're always like, oh, you must have a really big brain. Or like, oh wow, that's a really hard position. And I'm like, yeah, like we'll see how it goes. It's my first time. That's my first Sunday update of this vlog, and I'm gonna finish my tea and get some work done. And I will see you next Sunday. Hello everyone, it is another Sunday and it's time to recap how this last week has gone. We have fully completed our very first show, Twice Charmed. We did it so fast and the cast is absolutely incredible. My gosh, we did our first full run on Friday and I was of course sitting out watching, and it was hard not to cry. I got teary-eyed so many times because it is just such a fun, beautiful show and everyone is just doing such an incredible job with it. Having learned it so fast and being able to pull it together and have such a high quality show already now in the studios for the first time was really special to see. But I of course have so many thoughts and feelings and experiences from this past week being a swing and being in that outside seat. Something that I struggled with this week as a swing is that I don't have the same expectation or specific goals that I need to accomplish for the week, and that is hard to deal with as a performer who is used to that, being in the main primary cast. Of course, if we're doing a run of the show on Friday, you have to have everything memorized and know where you're standing, know what you're saying, know what you're doing. But as a swing, covering 5 different people in this show, I don't have that same expectation, but I kind of do, but I don't. I don't necessarily need to have them all memorized right now because it is a lot of tracks and it's like really, really early in the process. But at the same time, like I could have to go on for someone if they got sick before our run on Friday. So that was kind of a challenge for me to set my own personal goals of, okay, maybe I'll focus on this track first, and once that one feels really solid, then moving on to the next one, because the nature of swinging, you never know when you're gonna go on. So that can be kind of tricky when I'm used to having a much more set out schedule, or like things that I know I need to accomplish by a certain date. So that was a big learning curve this week, was trying to figure out how to still keep myself accountable for knowing the things that I should know, and also not pushing myself to have everything completely memorized by the time my cast had to do their run. I do find that what I'm writing in my notebook has changed as I started too. I'm trying to steer away, I guess, from really specific notes from the blocking book, as in like stand on 4 on this track line on the stage. I find that when I'm gonna be in that stressful situation, it's easier to be like, you're in that line with the cast, but you're between this person and this person. I feel like that could be easier for me to remember. If it's a moment that can allow that, of course, like for safety reasons, there are moments where like, okay, you need to be on this number because this lift is going down and you don't want to get injured or something. But I think writing my notes in that way has changed the way I've been taking notes in the rehearsal room as well. For instance, in this scene change, you're following this other character the whole time around the stage. So instead of me trying to spend so long figuring out how to write that out, like to go down this curve, then up this way and up that way, just simply putting follow this person, and then in the moment that actor can help me get through that, of course. And color coding has been my favorite thing. Every girl in the cast has a specific highlighter color, and I basically have it memorized by now. We've been doing these final runs of the shows in my notebook. I don't know if I showed you guys this yet, my big massive swing notebook. I've been writing notes from the full show of each character in show order, as minimal and specific as I can be, so that I don't have to like read a whole book about the show every time I have to go on. So that felt really good to have that down. And then of course I struggled a little bit with that FOMO feeling, which I totally knew was going to be something that I had to navigate on a contract like this, because it is like a different experience to be doing just as much work, if not even more work, and then when they do the runs of the shows, you just sit there and watch them shine, and it's a really special, cool thing. But at the same time, it is of course challenging when my passion is to be on stage. So it's just interesting because I don't know when that will be. Like, I don't know if I'll get to perform in rehearsals here in Toronto. I might not. Maybe my first time doing the show ever will be on the ship when there's already an audience in a theater. So it's a little bit crazy. Of course, being able to watch the first time my cast ever did a full run of the show, and I was like, wow, okay, this is what this is gonna feel like. I do also keep reminding myself that my contribution to this cast is to be that person that kind of saves the day. Like, I'm trying to take pride in that, and that I'm doing all this extra work because it's gonna pay off later when one of my friends isn't feeling the greatest and the show still needs to go on for the guest. Then I get to swoop in. My time will come, and I just don't know when or where. But yeah, it's been a really, really fun week. And yeah, I'll see you next week for another Swing Sunday update. Hey guys, happy Sunday. This is the 3rd Sunday here in Toronto. Let's dive into it. On Monday, we did 2 runs of Twice Charmed, because like I said last Sunday, we finished the show completely, so that was really exciting. And on Monday, I took that opportunity, since I was sitting out again. I picked one track to follow throughout the whole show, so I had my big notebook out, and as they were doing it, I was following to make sure that my notes matched with what they were doing first of all, but also like made sense and were actually helpful. I started to write down other notes that I might not have noticed before. So for example, during a formation change, I noticed, okay, when she passes to the other side of the stage, she goes between these 2 people. Those are things that can get kind of complicated if you don't exactly know which traffic you're gonna go in on stage. So that was really cool to to like follow them throughout the show, and I felt pretty good about that. And then the next day I actually got to step in for a few numbers as my lead understudy track. So I'm understudying Drizella, one of the stepsisters in Twice Charmed, and that was really, really cool. It was so fun. It actually went pretty well. Like, everything was fine and I hit all my numbers and said all my proper lines, and it was so great to finally be on stage and performing with my cast. So it was a really great day for me. And then after that we flew to Orlando to do our costume fittings, and I vlogged all of this in a separate video that should already be posted. And then the rest of the week was super chill because we got back Thursday night, and then Friday we had all off. Saturday, which was yesterday, we just had a really short music rehearsal, just going over all of the songs we're singing for Tangled, because tomorrow we are diving right into the show. So I've loved having this week kind of chill, relaxing, to let my brain have a rest, because I don't think I mentioned this in my other Sunday updates, but I have been having lots of swing dreams. So just tossing and turning, thinking about all the different tracks, the characters, what they say, what they're like, just all these silly things, and it's been really hard to shut my brain off at night. So it's been so nice to not think about all of that for the last couple of days, and I'm a little bit nervous going into this next show because I'm covering 8 different tracks in Tangled. I'll let you know how all that goes next Sunday, I guess. Hey guys! It's not Sunday, this is actually Friday, but I just wanted to give you a little real-time update. We just did our very first full run of Tangled, and I got to swing in for an entire track for the whole show, and I'm just getting really emotional because it was like my first time actually performing with my cast for a whole show. I've like stepped in a couple times, but it was like here and there during rehearsals, like as we were working on numbers. So it's really cool to like be in my first full show and like bow at the end with everyone and just feel like I was really part of the magic. And it was just really special today, and all the hard work that I've been putting in at my little swing table and at home behind the scenes got to pay off today. So that was really exciting, and I'm really proud of myself. Everything went super great. It's just really exciting. I'm having a happy cry and I wanted to bring you guys in for this moment. We're on a 10-minute break, so I'm gonna eat my little snack, go back in, and I'll do my proper week debrief in 2 days back at my apartment. Okay, see you Sunday. Hello, happy Sunday. We've now completed week 5 of the rehearsal process, and what a great week it's been. As you would have just seen, I got to swing in for a full show this week, and it was such an amazing time. I also got to swing in the following day for our 2 runs that day, and we actually had an invited audience come in. So that was really, really cool to experience and to feel really settled into that one track. And it feels so great that I can check that track off my list, and I don't really need to focus on it for the next little while as I get the other 6 tracks into my body. But it was just so special to be able to perform the show with the cast and to have that satisfaction of bowing at the end and just having gone through this whole journey and story with everyone and sharing it with a little audience. It was so great, and I'm really proud of myself for the performance I gave and knowing everywhere I was supposed to be in the right moments and keeping calm and collected the whole time, because I wasn't sure how it was going to feel jumping into some of the numbers. Yeah, I'm really proud of myself, and all of that is because of all of the wonderful tips I've been getting from fellow swings. So thank you for all of your insight. It has been so helpful. And I have a few more things I want to share with you in regards to that have been really helping me out in this process. I've got my laptop here. Also, before I get into these notes, it was really cool to get to do the full track of the show, and in between the numbers I wasn't in, to look at my book and see if what I wrote was actually even helpful. Of course, I'm writing down as much detail as I can in case, you know, it's been months since I've looked at that track and I need like a deep refresh. But in the moment, I actually would rather look at less information. So I'm not writing out choreography. All I really needed was a couple numbers, maybe like the different sequences that happen in the song, or like don't forget to pass this cup to that character. So things like that are a bit more helpful than me reading through the entire song, because that can be quite a lot of words to read when you have to go on really fast. So with that being said, one of my first notes here is finding short forms for things that I'm writing out, and I'm also trying to keep it consistent with the order that I'm writing that in. When I'm writing it out, I like to first see what moment I'm talking about, so I'll write like a key word in the song. I'll say like dance break, and then I'll start with lyric or moment, and then I'll put in the number I'm supposed to be standing on. Then I'll clarify if that's on the left side of the stage or the right side of the stage. Then I will write the depth. So we actually have names for all these different depths on the stage. This really reminds me of Battleship. So then I'll do first track line, for example, and then any other little details that are important, like pass behind this person as you make it to that number. Things like that. I find that if I keep writing them in this order, first of all, it makes it a lot smoother for when I'm having to write all this stuff out over and over and over again and really fast in the moment I'm learning it. But also then when I need to look, I don't know, it just is easier for my brain to absorb it if it's in that same order every time. This next point is advice that I got from a fellow Disney swing who actually worked on this exact same ship. So I definitely had to take her advice on this because it has been super helpful. And it's when there's multiple tracks that are doing the same choreography, but it's reversed on either side. Instead of writing out for every person, Betsy starts with her left foot, Faith starts with her right foot, Constance starts with her left foot. It's a lot more simplified if I can just write, if I'm on stage left, it's my inside foot, and if I'm on stage right, it's my inside foot, and I know what that means. So no matter where I am on stage, if I just can remember that that choreography is set to inside foot is the one you start with, then regardless of whose track I'm in, I can just remember that it is inside foot and stop there. So really this whole theme is just simplifying everything so that I have less notes to write and look at, because I feel like in that stressful situation, the last thing I want to do is to read through a whole page of notes from this one dance number, even though that is of course important for just reviewing that track in general, but I'm speaking more of like when I actually have to swing on. So yeah, it just feels really good that I'm getting my groove as a swing. I'm finding things that are working for me, and I hope me sharing this with you is also helpful if you're a swing out there watching. It's just great to hear all the different ways that you can absorb this information, because it is quite a crazy job. We are now all done with Tangled, which is crazy. We did it in 2 weeks. And now we are moving on to our very last show we're learning, which is Disney Dreams. I'm really excited for this one because there's just so many lovely familiar characters, and I cannot wait to get to portray some of them. But yeah, a great week as a swing. Very proud of myself and the progress I'm making, and I'll catch you next Sunday. But here we are, week 6. Crazy. We only have 3 weeks left till we go to the ship, which brings up a lot of different feelings. Of course, excitement, because I love being on ships. I can't wait to get in my cabin and decorate and settle in. But also that means that we have 3 weeks to learn everything else we have to learn. Also, you probably noticed my new jacket. We got our cast merch in this week and I'm obsessed. I'm so happy with how it turned out. I hand drew all the designs for the cast. Give you a little look. This is our little logo. And then of course I got swing on my sleeve. I tried to incorporate all the different elements in our shows. The tower for Rapunzel, there's a little glass slipper at the top for Cinderella, and then the little window of the A for Magic is part of our Disney Dreams logo. I'm really excited with how it turned out. Now for my swing recap of week 6. It was a pretty chill week because we are doing a lot of our other offerings at the moment, so we haven't fully dove into our last show, Disney Dreams, yet. But on Monday, I was feeling very overwhelmed and stressed that day because we just finished Tangled, and I didn't finish writing out all of my tracks for each character I cover in that show yet. So my mind was still wanting to get that done, but then on that day we were already learning a big dance number from Disney Dreams where I cover 4 people in the same number. So it was just a lot in one day. I feel like my brain was all over the place, so I was definitely feeling like a stressed swing on that day and a little bit like, what am I getting myself into? But that quickly passed because we had such a chill week. It was so nice that I had the time to properly catch up and feel confident about what we just learned, so I could kind of seal that off and be ready and open to add more information for the last show. It was also a really nice week because I got to call my cousin Heather. She's actually a performer as well. We grew up performing together. So it's really cool that we're both working in the industry and can chat with each other about these things. And it was really great to have someone to relate to. She's been working at the Stratford Festival here in Ontario for a lot of years now, and she's swung multiple times. So she's been a really great resource for me to get some tips and insight, and honestly just to have someone to chat with and relate to. We were even talking about this on our phone call, that it's really hard to help someone learn to become a swing or find different ways that work for them, because it changes literally every time. She was telling me that every time she's been a swing, she's tried a different method. Like, there's no set way, even if you've done the position before. So I think that was really helpful to learn, because I feel like I'm the kind of person who's like, okay, give me the formula, I'll do the steps in this order and it'll all work out and I can learn everything and feel good. It was interesting to hear that even after so many years of swinging, there still isn't one answer or one way to do things. We also talked about something that is very important for swings, which is having a rest, giving yourself grace, taking a mental break when you need to, and having balance. Balance is so important. Yeah, it's just so mental and like the fact that it's crazy that I'm covering so many tracks, but also it's very challenging because I am shoving all this information in my head. Feels like I'm memorizing for the biggest exam of my life. I'm making all these cheat sheet study notes, and I just have to go in and hope that I've done my homework so that I can be successful. Not even just resting physically, but just taking a break mentally is super important, and I really felt like I got to do that this week, which was amazing. I remember like week 1 or 2, I was having nightmares all night and I couldn't sleep because my brain would not shut off. I was literally thinking, John goes to 7 on the dotted line and then he turns around and I grab this and I go there, and it was just so annoying. So it was really nice to be able to relax and have that balance this week, especially with Easter Sunday and going out of the city and just feeling like a normal person. And also we just talked about how important it is to have the right mindset when you're being a swing, and not to put so much pressure on yourself to be perfect and to allow yourself to make mistakes. No matter what, like, I will be making mistakes probably this whole contract, which is going to be such a different feeling for me not being in one primary track. Because when you're in that one track, you know it so well. You might make a mistake here and there, of course. Being in the position I am now, knowing 24 tracks, I think is my count at the moment, that's going to be literally impossible for me to be able to execute all those tracks perfectly. So I just can't even speak that into the universe that I'm gonna expect myself to be able to be perfect in any of those ways. So that is how I'm going to continue to think going forward into our very last show, Disney Dreams. Already been 6 weeks, crazy. And my mind is getting full. Gotta make some room for more. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Have a great day. Hey guys. So it's not Sunday right now, it's actually Thursday, but I thought I'd give you a mini update. Today we are revisiting Tangled, and I already knew that I was gonna have to go in for one of the ensemble members because she is moving up to her understudy spot, but I just got a text that I'm going to do my very first ever split track. I think it's gonna be okay because the other track that I'm now adding on is actually the one that I got to swing in for our full runs, so thankfully I'm already pretty comfortable with that one. Now the challenge is just doing 2 of them at the same time and deciding which character is more important in each number for me to step into. So I got dressed quickly and I'm running over to the studio so that we can get all organized and ready for our run, but thankfully it's pretty low stakes because it's only the cast in the room. So yeah, it's a great chance to get to try out a split track for the first time. But I will pop on again after today's rehearsals are done to give you an update on how it went and how I felt and all of that. So yeah, I better get over to the studios. Hey, I'm back from the studios and the run went super well. I am equally shocked and impressed with myself that I was able to do that run, being 2 people. So definitely a big win for me today, and proud swing moment, my first split track. Actually, wait, I say first split track, but I've definitely done this before on my previous contract. I mean, I wasn't the swing. I was doing my own singer-dancer track, and then I also had to step in as a lead vocalist when I wasn't already on stage. So I guess I've kind of already done this before, so maybe that's why it felt not as bad. And I do have a full video about my experience with that contract. I actually totally forgot about this, but it's on YouTube already, and I go a lot in depth with that process, and I actually bring you around backstage and throughout the show and everything, which is really fun. Sorry, little tangent there, but yeah, it went really well today. There was one number in particular where I was in the one track who is in the ensemble, and she dances a lot in this number, and the entire cast is in that number on stage. And the best way I can describe it is I felt like I just got thrown into a tornado. Like, I knew everywhere she had to be. We didn't have time to walk through the numbers slowly first just to make sure all the traffic patterns and everything was fine. We literally just went for it, and it actually went pretty well. So again, shocked and impressed with myself, but just crazy how that felt. I was locked in, focusing so that I made sure everything happened the way it was supposed to happen, but it was really fun. And yeah, a successful split track. I'm glad I got to experience that here in the studios, where the stakes weren't as high as, of course, like when you're on the ship in front of the audience. And yeah, I'll catch you next Sunday. Have a great week. Hey guys, happy Sunday. I'm here with coffee from my new favorite coffee place. It's called Moss. There's one right by the studio and another one right by my apartment, so had to get some coffee so that I'm all ready to catch you up on what happened this past week. So this week was pretty chill actually, because I feel like with this last show we're learning, there's only really like 2 full ensemble numbers and then one with a couple people ensemble dancing in. So there's a lot of single character rehearsals and very small scene rehearsals. So I had a lot of free time to be able to catch up with myself again and get the notes down that I want to get down, rehearse parts that need rehearsing, all that good stuff. The more chances I get to swing in during rehearsals, the more I get to fine tune what notations are actually working for me and what I think might help me when I'm on the stage doing the shows and having to swing in. And we actually played this really cool game yesterday on Saturday. That's usually our vocal review day. Our music director came up with this super crazy fun game. I think he called it like musical roulette or something like that, but he had this big box and he wrote out a bunch of stuff on different pieces of paper. There are a few different cards that you could pull out of this box. So 2 of them were show-based. So one of them was just a certain big ensemble number, and then you had to roll a dice, and I can't remember the numbers now, but if you rolled like a 1 or 2, let's say, then you just do the number full out normal, everything's fine. And then if you rolled some of the other numbers, then you had to do the number twice, and the first time was just normal, and the second time he would pick random understudies to go in. So that one was crazy for me. I kind of felt like a superhero. Some of them I had prepared because there is one girl that is away from the studios right now. So I was already swinging in for her. And then on top of that, he would change other things too. And those other parts I hadn't necessarily focused on in a little while because they're from the show we learned way at the beginning. So I was really testing myself, but it was all in fun and games. Like, there was no pressure. Nobody was getting mad at you if you forgot where you were going. It was just like a fun way for the cast to bond and to at the same time review these things. But it was really cool as the swing. I was really testing myself and seeing how many random parts I could make work. And what the heck, I remembered way deep in my brain from literally 2 months ago learning. So that was really cool. And honestly, that's really realistic to how it's gonna feel when I'm on the ship, because I'm sure there are gonna be shows where I'm sitting in the audience ready for it to start, and then I get a call saying, oh, we need you to come be this person, or even in the middle of the show where I'm not gonna have time to go read through all of these notes that I've written. So it was really cool to experience that in a not so high stakes setting. I officially have 1 week left here in Toronto, and by the end of this week we're going to be doing all the runs of all of our shows, which is really exciting. And my little sister is actually coming down to stay with me for a few nights. She's auditioning for another cruise line in the city, and she's gonna come watch some of our runs, which is gonna be so special, and I can't wait to take her around the studios. Yeah, I think that means I've learned everything that I'm supposed to learn. Have I learned everything already? Wait, I learned all my shows. That's crazy. Why did that not click in for me? I wish I like had a celebration. That's crazy. Oh, cool. I've officially learned everything. Oh my gosh, that's so much stuff. Whoa. Okay, that's a nice feeling, because that was my biggest stress in one of the Sundays where I was like, whoa, like how am I gonna fit one more show in my brain? So this feels so good that it's done. I need to have an official track count. I'll type it here when I do the proper math, but I'm pretty sure it's like 24. That includes 3 main stage shows, Sail Away show, Pirate Night, and a Halloween party. I think that's everything. It's a lot of stuff, but I'm really proud of myself. And I'm honestly a little bit shocked that I haven't freaked out as much as I thought I was gonna be. I don't know, I just really had no idea how I was gonna be able to handle this or how it was gonna be able to work. And I was fully prepared to have like a mental breakdown every day. But honestly, somehow it's been fine. I'm just really sitting back into that everything's gonna be fine, go with the flow, one step at a time, like literally all of these mantras in my head. But I think this is gonna be the end of my Sunday Swing Diaries vlog. I do have one more Sunday here, but I think I'm gonna make that its own next video, all about our last few days at the studios here, traveling to Orlando. We're definitely gonna have some Magic Kingdom Park adventures, and then of course embarking the Disney Magic, which is so exciting. So I think I'm gonna save next Sunday for that vlog. I'm getting teary-eyed again. It's like a whole new burst of exciting change, and I think we're all ready for it. It's been really wonderful here in Toronto, full of lots of information, some stressful times, making new friends, learning incredible shows, but I think we're definitely ready for this next step, adding all the new elements and getting back into cruise life. So subscribe and stay tuned for my next video. And yeah, I really hope that this was at least helpful to anyone who's being a swing for the first time, because I have not found a single video like this on YouTube, because trust me, I was searching everywhere for some type of help with being a swing, because it is such a crazy job. And even though these are things that work for me, there are so many other ways you can do this. And even things that I'm telling you that I'm trying, a month from now, I might think, oh, that actually is not helpful at all, and I'm not gonna do that again. So I think with being a swing, at least what I've gathered from conversations I've been having with lots of other swings, is that there's no right or wrong way, and you're always going to be changing and growing and trying new things and finding out what works best for you. Unfortunately, there is no formula. You just got to start trying things. So yeah, I really hope this was helpful, or even if you're just interested to hear about what the heck a swing does in a musical theater production, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any other questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Yeah, she's a swing now, baby. Woohoo! I'm so excited. Okay. Swing signing off.